Hi, I'm Justin Harlan, Managing Director of Tulsa Remote, and we have another episode today of Remote Revelations. Today, we are joined by Jimmy and Amanda Hanus, who this is our first couple to be on this podcast together. So we often get asked like how Tulsa Remote brings people together during their time here, or do folks move together, and can you both apply for the program and all that? So I'm thrilled to talk to you all today just about your experience coming to Tulsa from Chicago and everything in between. So thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Let's start just like, what was life like before you applied to Tulsa Remote? What were you all up to? Where were you? Tell me a little bit about life for the Hanuses at that time.
Well, we're recently married, so we're going to have our 3rd-year anniversary this November. And one of the things, you spend a lot of time figuring out who you're going to marry, but people aren't always as intentional about where they're going to live. And we knew we wanted to start a family, and it didn't feel like Illinois and the Chicagoland area was where we wanted to do that. Just the cost of living, how far it was from some of the things that we would have wanted to spend time doing. And so we'd kind of been on a quest for the past couple of years. We did a road trip to Texas. We did a road trip to Tennessee. We kind of explored Indiana, other places that might work for us to relocate to.
I love it. So you all like got married and then decided you did not want to live in that place and started this like nationwide exploration. Is that right, Jimmy?
Pretty much. We wanted to just go and explore. We found a few different places that we wanted to move to, but didn't really work out. And we got an ad through LinkedIn for Tulsa Remote, and we're like, let's go check it out.
Yeah, so it was a LinkedIn ad. That's good to know. Our marketing dollars are going to a
it's
good place.
It's working. Yeah.
So what was it that spoke to you about that opportunity to join Tulsa Remote? And like, what was the light bulb moment for you as it relates to the program?
So I had been to Oklahoma before. In high school for a mock trial championship. And then later in my professional career, Oklahoma was one of the territories that I covered. And the people were so friendly, and it left such an impression on me. And the airport was so easy, and there was never any traffic. And I was like, Tulsa, Oklahoma, like, why didn't we think of this before? And Jim was like, that's not real. And so we both applied, and we both got interviewed separately, which we thought was really surprising because we're like, well, we're both remote tech workers. Like, we'll both just do this together. But we've had like completely separate experiences and unique experiences this entire time.
So yeah, that's one thing to point out. If you apply as a couple, we're kind of considering you both on your own accord and considering each as a standalone application. And then there are ways in which we kind of work to consolidate that process so that it's not one partner applied and then they got in. And so then the other partner is going to just try to get $10,000 on their way here. So there are things we can do. You can see more about that on our website. But it sounds like Amanda had been here to Tulsa before, to Oklahoma. As you kind of learned about this, program in a place that you had never been, what was going through your mind?
Well, I remember sitting on the couch, and she had pulled up the ad, and I said, Tulsa, like, what is in Tulsa? Why would I want to move there?
Yeah.
I never thought about moving to Tulsa, Oklahoma. And watching Tulsa King, it just felt like tumbleweeds and tornadoes. It was my first impression. Right. And when we came here for our hosted visit, I was extremely impressed with, it was a complete 180, like the networking opportunities, the people here, the environment in general. The city is just amazing. And the hosted visit really made that possible.
One of the things that I think is true about Tulsa is you kind of have to be here and feel it in order to know like what makes it so special and magical. And oftentimes for folks, that is the visit. And it sounds like that was the case for you also. Tell me a bit about like what you saw on that visit that made you feel like this is somewhere that you could live.
The first Friday is when you have the hosted visit, which I think is perfect because when we were walking around downtown for that first Friday for the art crawl, I was super impressed with all the art and all the people. People were super nice. The city was very clean, and there was just so much to do in such a small city. I was just impressed all around.
And it sounds like you met some folks here during your visit as well?
Yeah, we did. I mean, it's funny because all the things that we like to do, which is go to cigar shops when I'm not expecting a baby. So we went to a really killer cigar shop. We found a used bookstore with over 1 million books for sale. I think my luggage was like too heavy on the way home. At the art crawl that Jimmy's talking about happens the first Friday of every month, and they have free craft beer that they give you.
Yeah.
And he's a huge craft beer snob, and so he couldn't believe how much craft beer there was here. And so we're just like walking into like the next thing that we would like to do. And we both are kind of like health conscientious with some of the things we eat. And we just like happened to walk into Chimera and get like a gluten-free vegan. It was super easy to eat clean and to eat like allergy friendly. He's gluten-free. And it was just so simple. And I wasn't expecting Oklahoma to be so friendly to dietary restrictions.
Yeah.
And now that I'm pregnant, like the mocktail game here is so strong. And there's like really fun social events around making mocktails and experiencing mocktails. And so the food actually was one of the things that I just remember like taking a lot of pictures of and being really impressed about, like how fresh and how healthy. Jimmy's obsessed with Inheritance Juicery, and I have to call it out by name because it's like incredible. And like that was it. He had a peanut butter and jelly smoothie, and it was done. We were moving. Like he started packing.
Yeah, it was like one positive after the next. We on our art crawl, we were getting free craft beer, and then I found out that I'm gluten free. And there was a gluten-free brewery across the street, Neff Brewing. It's just positive after positive.
Well, that's great. So you got to, kind of push up against some of the misconceptions that you might have had, or even just the way that Oklahoma is portrayed in the media or whatever, wherever else. How long after you saw it during that visit did it take for you all to just kind of collectively decide that this is where you want to uproot and move your lives to?
We were 99% sure we were going to move here until we found an apartment. We had a little bit of a hiccup with the first one. We walked right into the second one. They took us in. Had an apartment available, and we're like, that was our 1%.
Yeah. We came in August just to make sure this was real and that you were real and that the people that were interviewing and applying were also actual humans that were remote workers. And once we're like, okay, all these people that we met are interested in similar things. Like they work in tech or they work remotely and they just want a better life for their current family and for their future. And so they were kind of on the same quest we were, like just that quality of life where they were going to spend their time and just being thoughtful about that. And so once we like just enjoyed the energy of all the people that we met, there was such a fun networking bingo that we played. I'll never forget. Like it just really fosters that connection and fun. Once we realized that, we started looking for an apartment. Our visit was in August and we moved the first week of October.
Oh, wow.
So
yeah, you turned it around quick.
Yeah.
And it was like one of your non-negotiables that you had to be in the apartment right by Neff Brewery, or what?
No, that's just coincidence. I didn't know it was a gluten-free brewery until after I found out.
Okay, got it. Love it. Well, it's funny. You're pulling out a couple of real commonalities. Like first and foremost, we often have people apply to the program that don't believe that it's actually real, or they're just kind of waiting for like the string. They're like, what's the hook here? Yeah. This can't just be cash to move. And so the fact that you just kind of took that chance to see like what was on the other side is something that actually happens more often than you'd think. And then, Amanda, I love how you're pulling out just like everybody is so different that comes for the visit or that moves through the program. And the diversity of like background is so rich, but there is that common thread, which is like you're looking for something bigger. Mm-hmm. It's almost like there's like this pull to make something more out of your life than you might be experiencing it wherever you are. And regardless of like the background that gets you to that place, I do think that's something that the amazing folks we bring to Down do have in common. It's like what more can I get out of life? And Tulsa, I think, opens up that door for so many. You have these big expectations when you move to a new place. And obviously you all had high hopes based on the visit and all the things that Tulsa would unlock for you and the program would help you to accomplish. Like, how has that played out? I mean, you're not even a year in to your time here in Tulsa. How have, the expectations that you have, how have those been met during your time here?
I'll start. I mean, I think you're right. Change equals opportunity. And so everyone that's moving here is looking for that positive and intentional change. And living downtown, I'd never felt like a cool, hip, young tech worker because I just work from home and kind of turned my job, which I'm really grateful for. And I love my career and I love my company, but I used to be able to go into an office before COVID. They didn't renew the lease. And so I'd kind of just turned that into a prison. And I just really wasn't doing a lot of fun and things that I used to love to do. And so when you relocate, you can bring back intentionally and purposefully what you want your life to look like. And so we were able to find like a church community. I used to love to sing. Tulsa has a crazy cool, like organic music scene. People are here before they become cool, right? I feel like they play here first. And so I was able to get jazz lessons. I found a really neat volunteer opportunity with the Tulsa Hills Youth Ranch where I get to get off the desk and unplug and groom horses and spend time in nature with kids that have experienced trauma here in Tulsa. And it's like 10 minutes away. It's not like I'm driving.
Yeah,
so that's, I think the big thing is because everything's 15 minutes away in literally any direction, you can do something completely different in 15 minutes and be in a completely different locale. So just really feel like I'm excited to get off work. I have things to look forward to. I have events to go to. And so just really feel like I'm having a rich week by the end of the week.
It feels like every time I see you, it's like this long list of new things that you've tried. And you're like the yes people, you just have totally embraced what the city has to offer and tried all the different things. I know that you also utilize the Goose Chase app, which is something that we actually give to our members Talk a little bit about that and how that has also like dictated the path that you've gone
all on you.
Yeah. Go ahead, Amanda.
Well, there's an app that a lot of people don't use, but until they call me out, they're like, how come you have so much Tulsa Remote swag? You've got the crew neck, I've got a fun glass, I have a flag, and I'm like, oh, I'm on the goose chase, baby. So I'm rank 2. Please unrank me. I'm happy to be dethroned. I've been 2 for a long time. But there's an app that Tulsa Remote has that gives you quests, and you get points for your quests, like try an ethnic grocery store, hike one of these 5 trails. And every weekend, we just said, hey, let's pick one quest this weekend that we're going to do with our dogs or without our dogs. So we just quested our way to loving Tulsa because every weekend we just did something new in a different neighborhood, in a different season of the year. I think my favorite might have been on my birthday. We went to the Shed Aquarium and saw Scuba Santa. He is in a scuba suit. I don't know how it works in water because like when you're in water, things usually rise. And he looks fantastic, and they give you candy canes. And I was like, there's a scuba Santa. Like, he's in there with the fish right now. This is so cool and random.
Well, that's like a perfect example of the things that we, like the tools and resources that we give, living out and like playing out for you all in the exact way that we hoped it would, where we're not having to create every single experience for you all being in town, but it's like, hey, go follow this. And you all actually followed it and loved everything you saw.
I think we've done more things than most natives that live here.
No doubt. Yeah, no doubt. And Jimmy, I know that you've also like picked up a hobby and like leaned into a lot of the free time in new and exciting ways. Tell me a little bit about that and how Tulsa has impacted your life, both professionally, because I know there's some connections there as well, and then personally.
Yeah, definitely. So I started a website development side hustle about 4 years ago. It's been doing really well. I wanted to take that side hustle and move it to Tulsa, and I did. Started acquiring a couple customers here, and it's been very successful since. Yeah, so during one of the first Fridays, we were at the Fulton Street grand opening, and we were networking and talking to a bunch of other Tulsa Remoters, and my wife had introduced me to another Tulsa Remoter that was a intern, and he was learning website development.
Okay.
And we were talking, and there was a project that he is now working on. Since meeting him, it's been a great friendship. We've been building up the network. And he's been helping me with a few other projects now as well, too. So it's been a great networking opportunity. And then also the Idea Accelerator, the partner that I was paired up with, Max, he has also been helping me out with some contracting as well, too. So coming to Tulsa Remote and being in the program has really opened the doors up to so many networking opportunities that I never thought I would have had back home. Found it very quickly and very easily here. And it's been just a blessing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and another side hustle just to add is I'm building an app for the pool community.
Yeah.
And I was accepted into the Idea Accelerator through Builders and Backers, and they give you $5,000 in free Pebble Fund money to test your idea. We're getting the app launched in like 30 to 40 days. And again, it's just another thing that's been added to the list that is helping me progress with the other things that I do.
So cool.
And as a spouse that wants to be supportive, like if there's anybody out there that's listening to this and they have an entrepreneurial bug, like this is such a safe place to test that and such a supportive place to test that. There's just so much intention around building the future of a successful Tulsa and multi-generational wealth for Tulsans. And so I think that this is the perfect place to really test any entrepreneurial pursuit because you're going to have just this infrastructure that other cities don't have, or it's just so competitive to get into.
So yeah, another example of like things that we kind of put in motion that then relies on the people that are here actually taking advantage of it in the right ways, and you've benefited from that. And what about your drumming? I know that's a big aspect
definitely.
of your life.
So the past year, I've really taken drumming seriously and really wanted to perfect that skill. I did a quick Reddit search on how to enhance the skill, how to become more of an advanced player. And the first thing it told me was to learn world music or bossa nova jazz. And I did a quick Facebook search on bossa nova jazz in downtown Tulsa. And the next day, actually that evening, it said that there was a bossa nova trio that was playing at Cicero's downtown. So we went and saw them. We listened to them for the first 2 sets. The drummer walks over to us and says, "Hey, there's a vibe going on here. Tell me about yourself, you know?" So I told him, I'm like, I'm trying to enhance my drumming skills. Looking for a bossa nova jazz teacher or, just trying to enhance it. Learn world music. He said, "Hey, I have a PhD in music and I'm also a bossa nova jazz teacher." And I'm like, wait, I found someone with a PhD in music that is a bossa nova jazz teacher. I just searched for this last night. I'm able to find this in Tulsa. And now I'm learning with Michael Bremo, who's out of Drum World every Tuesday. I've been doing that for about 5 or 6 months now. Tried out for Life Church, got accepted right away. And I've been playing every Wednesday for the Switch group up in Owasso.
First off, I am awaiting the day that somebody comes up to me and says, there's a vibe.
There's a vibe.
Because that's just a dream, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody wants that to be said to you, sitting randomly in a bar or restaurant. So congratulations.
Yeah, it was just strange how it happened.
So first off, that like run-in that you had did not happen just like totally on its own, right? Like you didn't just randomly bump into this world-class drummer. It did take a little bit of effort on your part. And I love, Amanda, what you said about like change creates opportunity and, you know, embracing this new life and the opportunity to hit the reset button and kind of create the life that you want. You may not have done a ton. I mean, you Googled and then you showed up, but that's still something. And I think that what we see is, you know, those who have the best time here are those who are willing to put in just a little bit of effort and get out of their living room or off their couch and actually go out and experience what the city has to offer. And I do want to call out that it wasn't just like happen chance and you weren't just like sitting around.
No,
you
we
actually
were
did
exploring.
something to explore.
Yeah.
And in opening those doors, there were natural collisions that I think happened for you all that have created the life that you're enjoying now, which I think is
really
special.
good food.
Yeah. And it's good food, yes. What else is on the radar for you all? I know that there's big announcements that are coming here in Tulsa. And how are you thinking about kind of your future life in Tulsa from here?
Yeah, well, we're excited. We're expecting an Okie baby October 3rd. His name is going to be Theodore, and his nursery is Bison because I don't call him Buffalo after living in Oklahoma. I know better. And Jimmy actually took some beautiful pictures at the Tallgrass Prairie.
I was going to ask if you've been up there.
Not far at all from Tulsa. Great day trip. You can see the Pioneer Woman's restaurant for lunch and then go see the magnificent bison that are not in a fence. And he took some great pictures, and we're really looking forward to hanging those in the nursery.
Are there other things in Tulsa that you all are like looking forward to checking off the list with your growing family?
So I would say, I mean, get the gathering place. We've been there, but haven't been there with a child yet.
He's only having this baby so we can go to the Discovery Center.
Yes, and the planetarium. Discovery Lab we have not been to.
Okay.
Heard a lot of good things about that. One thing about Tulsa, this is the reason why we were really adamant about starting a family, is that Tulsa is very family oriented and they're very accepting of families. You could really take your kid anywhere and everyone is just so welcoming.
Well, and that's really what surprised us is even though we're from Chicago, which has Broadway and all of this theater and all of this opera, it's so inaccessible because it's so hard to get places and it's so costly. We've actually experienced more arts here, and we're excited about having our child be cultured here. You know, if you don't know, Tulsa is one of the epicenters of Art Deco architecture, which feels very much like Chicago to us because they were growing cities around the same time with similar architects.
Right.
And so if I ever miss home, I just walk downtown to the midweek farmers market and I'm surrounded by that. And so we've actually seen a ballet, an opera, a couple musicals, and we got to meet some of the cast beforehand. Like, it's not that we didn't have that. It just would have been so much more competitive to compete with 4 million people for those tickets versus 400,000 that we're just doing so much more because it's less expensive to park. I think it was $3 or we walked versus 72, which is what we're used to.
Oh my gosh.
For parking to go to a White Sox game and they're not going to win. And I think we've really just enjoyed like all of the sports that are in Tulsa. I think that really took us by surprise too. We were looking for a winning sports team, you know, leaving Chicago. I don't have to say much more about that.
Yeah.
So it was easy to give FC Tulsa our hearts or any of the teams that are winning.
I love it. Well, Tulsa definitely opens up an entirely new experience when you have a little one. So I'm excited about that for you all. If there are couples or folks with kiddos that are listening and, considering the move, I know that can be a stressful conversation to have. What advice would you give to folks that are considering applying to the program or making the move to Tulsa?
Yeah. So we moved here for very different reasons. I moved here for more of the social aspects. Jimmy moved here for more of the professional development opportunities for his entrepreneurial pursuits. And we've both wanted to stay and make Tulsa our forever home based off of being able to fit that need. One very quick specific example is I'm passionate about my sorority. I'm a Pi Beta Phi alumni. And in Chicago, they segregate you because there's so many thousands of alumni by your age group and you only get to hang out with those people. And here in Tulsa, there is a vibrant sorority community because there's a lot of universities here in Oklahoma, but everybody does everything together. And so I was very quickly able to find a meeting on Instagram through their social media, join a committee, and just get poured into by these women that are wiser than me in a different stage of life, which I'm so open to right now as I'm going to be a new mom. Right. And so I'm thrilled that I am now their incoming president next year. So I'm their president-elect, which again, coming from a major city, would never had the exposure to a leadership position that quickly. Yeah. So whatever you're into, whether that's a sorority or bossa nova jazz, like Tulsa has it if you just look it up.
Yeah, I would say anyone that's new that is looking at Tulsa Remote and coming to Tulsa is that there's opportunities everywhere. There's something for everybody, and everyone's welcoming to whatever you do. I did not think that I would be able to find the opportunities that I have found this easy. Living in Chicagoland area for over 30 years, I have found more opportunities here over the past year, and I've just enhanced myself professionally, got myself out there and networked more, built my business, and everything else has just been so positive.
So awesome to hear. And you all, like I said, have just been like saying yes to so much and have really been able to get a lot out of this year that you've been here. And it's so awesome just to hear about these stories and the ways in which the city has opened up a new lifestyle and the connections you've made, the ways you're professionally developed through the Tulsa Idea Challenge, or the connections you've made professionally, the ways in which life has just become bigger than a job or traffic or the parking fees or whatever else. And kudos to you all for leaning in that way and really seeing what Tulsa has to offer. It sounds like it's just the beginning for you all and what's to come. And I'm thrilled that Tulsa Remote has been kind of the start of that story for you.
Thank you so much.